All right, guys, I really don't know what to tell you. I am just so thrilled to be back here on this very pod. I don't normally call it that because I find that cheesy and lame, but I am here with the energy and I am ready, finally, because I paid my subscription to Podbean, I am ready to finally share my voice with the world once again. Oh, thank God I don't always talk like this. That is insufferable. Okay, here we go. Okay, you guys, it has happened. I started the podcast by saying, all right, guys. So it wasn't all right, you guys. I was about to say, like, oh my God, I am on the verge of becoming Candace Owens. Anyway, what's this podcast episode going to be about? Like, I asked myself rhetorically for performative effect, of course, because I know exactly what it's going to be about. I think you can take a wild guess at what it might be as well. Here we go. The war on drugs is real, you guys, or at least I think it is. That's right. Today we're going to be tackling the ever-present issue of drugs in our neighborhoods, in our buildings, in our workplaces, in our societies, in our lives, in our children, in our hospitals, in our pill containers, in our medicine cabinets, in our food, our water, our Wow, I thought I was going to be able to do that completely off the cuff. I haven't written any of this. But yeah, I have a point, I promise. I've also actually written the opening tag, and it goes like this. This is Spilling Trends, where listeners keep an open mind while a 30-something alleged crackhead comments on hot topics while researching them in real time. We cover whatever is trendy, or whatever we wish is trending. And by we, I mean me. There's only me here. Either way, we're spilling. And today, we're spilling on drugs. Hi, I'm Dave. I'm not under the influence, you are, and this is Spilling Trends. Music's over. Okay, thank you. Okay, so, well, what can I say so far? I am currently sitting alone in my corner office, corner of my bedroom between two mattresses, and it's dark outside. In fact, it is 2:45 a.m. currently. And, well, what else can I tell you? There is a painting of Sarah Paulson in the corner of the room that is staring at me menacingly. No, I'm making that up. I mean, there is a painting there, but she's not staring at me. That's just a face. That's what they look like. And I wanted to really get into drug problems today. I've had drug problems. Maybe I still do. Maybe I still don't. Who knows? Who cares? You're not going to know. You'll never know. I could just be acting. Method acting. And the other thing was, what is that? Fuck. Wait, why am I recording right now if I don't even know what I'm about to say? Like, I could easily just, like, sit here and think, like, what am I going to say? Or write it down, and then say it. But then it sounds really contrived and weird, and also, like, improv is so great. And just on the other thing, oh, that's right, I was going to ask, how's my audio going? But you can't reply straight away because this isn't in real time. And when I said researching in real time, I mean, like, while I'm making the podcast, I'm researching it. Like, I haven't prepared anything. So there will be cuts. Like, this is going to be edited. Just for the sake of, like, integrity, okay? Just, like, yeah. If anyone ever calls me on it, it's on the record now. I don't want to have to keep on repeating myself on other podcasts where I will have less energy and less interest. So, what are drugs? Are they even bad? Are they as bad as they say? Can I even do that voice, okay? No. I think that was more kind of quirky, sort of homosexual, pseudo-intellectual take on Master Mackie. It's still waiting to record. Oh no, it's been recording for 4 seconds. Look, I mean, the main angle for me on this issue is that it's a nuanced thing. I mean, what isn't? But I mean, of all the nuanced issues to talk about, drugs are probably the most nuanced, and we're not here to judge anyone because I'm, of course, saying that I'm not here to judge anyone because I wanted to imply that it's something that you should be judged for, you piece of shit. Why are you doing drugs? Why? That's okay. I have too. It's fine. Because it's nuanced. Now, the disclaimer I'll put at this point is that this is a largely topical but also satirical podcast. Nothing we give out here is advice of any kind. We also promote some financial related resources as well, and that's not qualified financial advice. I honestly would say, I don't speak for the entire internet, but I'll speak for myself in terms of what I consume. I don't personally go online to find podcasts where I'm going to take any kind of life advice as gospel. Okay, I'm an intellectual. Okay, I pay attention to more than just what people are saying. I pay attention to who's saying it. I want to learn and understand. And I'm about to go off on a tangent, so I'm going to have to bring myself right back to say that critical. Oh, whoa. And to think I was going to be a voiceover artist with that lack of diction. Critical thinking. I think critically. It does get overwhelming at times. Yes. Have I learnt to control it? Yes. In fact, especially with now having been experienced in heightened states, the silver lining, of course, is that I have inadvertently learnt a lot more self-control. I don't want to get too much into my own things, though. At least not right now. Maybe later in the episode. I actually don't know. We'll see how we go. We're just gonna see how this turns out. This might even end up being our longest episode ever, which is going to be great for revenue. I think that ended up being a tangent, even though I so skillfully and willfully pulled myself out of it. I say ironically, and I'm over-explaining now. So basically, I'm not the kind of person who goes online and just takes anything anyone says as gospel. I like to do collective research, and I would hope that other people do the same. If you're treating people how you want to be treated, and then there's another ugly side to that, because treating people you want to be treated means also projecting the way you would behave badly when you accuse them of behaving badly. But anyway, the simple way of looking at it is treat people how you want to be treated and regard people how you would like to be regarded. And I want to be regarded as someone who can think for themselves and doesn't need to have every little fucking thing explained to them. So I haven't lived up to that so far. So what I'm going to do is stop explaining things, and I'm just going to keep talking and see how that goes. We give zero clicks for anything that isn't poultry, a chicken, or meat-related things and other things. Follow Fashion Chucks on TikTok, Instagram, and other things. I was thinking of getting on Suno and getting some more audio logos and silly sound effects and stingers and ellipses and what have you, and whatever terminology I can't come up with right now. I think you get the picture. But I've already gone on for 8 minutes and there is still absolutely no substance. Ha 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 ha. Get it? Substance. Ha 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 ha. Ha 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 ha. We're talking about drugs. This is an opinion podcast, which was the 3-second version of the elongated explanation that I gave before. Over-explaining. Or at least I'm over-explaining in my view. Look, I don't actually feel like even researching this in real time. I'll just tell you what. I'll give you my experience. I'll give you a rundown of the local drug racket in my town, without naming names. I feel like I should make a spreadsheet first. I am going to make a spreadsheet actually, because there is going to be what is a sort of regular update on the goings-on in the River City, is what I'll call it. Extra points if you find out where I live exactly. It's somewhere in New Zealand and it's not Auckland. Thank God. But yeah, here in River City, and I'll change everyone's names and make shit up. I will tell you for free that Stacey is still really fucking getting up my goat. But it's more the thought of him. Like, not really him as a person. Last time I saw him, I actually found out that he was going on a date with a psycho. But let's not get into that, because we're not talking about... Well, we are talking about drugs, but we're not talking about the drugs that those people are on or that they had to do in order to find each other. Ironically, this brings me to my next point. I'm supposed to have a drug problem at the moment, which I'm getting help with. But yet I feel like I am more aware and more transcendent. More, oh God. Oh my God, suck my own dick. No. But to be fair on myself, like to give myself credit, I'm actually doing really well in my head, especially given the circumstances. I'm seeing things that I need to see. I'm understanding what I need to understand, and the things that I'm not understanding, I'm making a conscious effort to. And the things that I can't control, I am mindful that I mean, I know I wasn't God, even though sometimes I might feel like I am because, sometimes there are ants on the counter and I, smite them with my index nail. And that's not even that funny. And I'm also completely making it up. I don't use my fucking index nail, I slap them. Or do I just use the cloth? I use a disinfectant wipe. So it's actually not me even playing God, it's the disinfectant. Anyway, so the long and short of it for now is that I've known people who use drugs, like who are like functioning addicts, who have more sense than the fucking normies with high-powered careers. I know drug dealers with more integrity than people who run businesses. I know druggies, the crackiest cracky people, who are more intellectual and have more sense than the pseudo intellectuals that pollute social media and may or may not even be listening to this podcast. Um, Speaking of the self control that I've developed since earlier, I just filtered myself. That's right, in real time. I stopped myself from apologizing to you because you don't fucking deserve it, you judgmental bitch. When you go complain about AI art some more, cry and piss your pants. No, don't piss your pants. Actually, I don't make fun of bodily functions. That's not fair. That's not fair. I'm not going to apologize for that, but I will take accountability. I will not make fun of you for your bodily functions. I will make fun of you for the active, lucid choice that you have made to embrace being a pseudo intellectual, also known as a retard. Trends. Remember back in 2006? Oh, no, you don't, because you're 12 and you found this on your parents' phone and now you won't give it back and she's crying at you. Sarah, come to dinner, please. Stop listening to that Take a Poo song by Dovra that Fashion Chooks made a video about on my phone, please. Give it back. Come get some dinner. Or did I say dessert? I can't remember. I just improv that. Anyway, I asked ChatGPT for a quick summary of the war on drugs, which is relevant to the topic we're discussing. I figured that's where I was going. So back in 2006, before ChatGPT, 20 years ago, it was Wikipedia. And the issue with Wikipedia was that anyone could just go in there, log in, and edit the pages. And it was this whole thing about like, oh, all this collective research, or, there's a collective of people volunteering their time to share knowledge and create, Wikipedia pages, like essentially encyclopedia entries for a variety of topics, from toe jam to Ellen DeGeneres' cancellation, Dakota Johnson, whatever. It was apparently that has a page. But there was this whole kerfuffle about it for ages, about, especially teachers in school saying, don't trust it. You can't trust Wikipedia because that information is not coming from, like legitimate sources, or like, oh, that's not so. And so what I did as a 13-year-old, and this is why I don't like reading, okay, because I learned so much just by doing. What I did was I went onto Wikipedia and I actually tried to change some things, okay? In fact, I might have even been 11. And I did. I went on to, I can't remember what the article was, but I edited it and I just put the word poo just in amongst random sentences. And then there was some scientific sentence that my teacher was reading over my shoulder after I'd made the edit, and she read it, and she was intrigued because it said something like, and then following that process, the acid will remain but may continue to bubble if its state remains a liquid poo. And I just made that up, and it was something to that effect. But my teacher was just like, it remains a liquid poo. Okay. Like, oh, she was kind of like blown away by it. Maybe she, Maybe she just quietly, like in the back of her mind, was thinking he's done something, he's done that. No, the point that I'm finally getting around to after 2 minutes and 41 seconds is that um has anyone who uses Wikipedia ever actually tried to make an edit, and has it ever actually stayed? Like, how long before it got reverted? Okay, how long before someone realized that you hadn't added the essential citation? Okay, because that was the whole point of Wikipedia, and it was always like that with Wikipedia. And so there was this whole like controversy about it by these numbskulls who act like, oh, you know, fucking, oh, they just don't look into it that far. They they don't appreciate the nuances of it. It's like, yeah, there are some Wikipedia articles that could use better citations, which is why they tag them needs better citations. There are some Wikipedia articles that are just stubs, I suppose you could say. Stubbs. My cousin has the last name Stubbs, and she asked me to drop some Easter eggs in. That is not an Easter egg, Rhiannon. That is actually what is it? That's the actual term that they use for those articles. So nowadays, AI is basically the new Wikipedia. Okay, so AI is the one that people aren't trusting, except they are trusting it because they are using it just like they used Wikipedia 20 years ago. So the moral of the story is just use ChatGPT, okay? Or use whatever AI. Now, this particular output that it's just given me about the war on drugs, for instance, it hasn't actually given me any citations. So what I'm going to quickly do, I am going to read it out, but, well, in my way. What I'm going to do is I'm going to ask for some citations. So I'm just going to type in citations, please. See what I told you about researching in real time? I'm doing it. Okay, here we go. Now it's got citations. Okay. Okay, no, that's awesome. That's National Academies, the United States Sentencing Commission. Oh, that's the government. Oh, you know how well we can all trust the government. That's fine. Speaking of the government, the war on drugs is the broad term for governments, especially the United States, using criminal law, policing, military police force, border controls, and international pressure to suppress illegal drug production, trafficking, and use. Quick version. Early roots drug prohibition expanded during the 20th century, but modern war on drugs is usually associated with the United States in the 1970s. Why is everything about fucking America? 1971, President Richard Nixon declared drug abuse public enemy number one, dramatically expanding the federal drug enforcement. 1980s to the 1990s, the U.S. increased mandatory minimum sentences, police funding, prison populations, and international efforts against drug-producing countries. Crack cocaine laws became particularly controversial because they produced extremely harsh sentences and disproportionately affected Black Americans. Did you see what I did there? So the direction I chose to go in was I was trying to adopt a sort of just like a standard Western woman's voice, and then towards the end of that I made her a bit cooler and then started leaning into a more kind of horny delivery. I thought it really added some zest and something unique to my performance. So that is how I choose to be an artist. Internationally, the US supported governments and military police operations in places such as Colombia, Mexico, Afghanistan, and Southeast Asia targeting drug production and trafficking. Yeah, good. Good. Get those dirty, druggy Southeast Asians, Afghanistanians, Mexicanians, and Colombianas. The basic strategy: make drugs harder to produce and obtain, arrest dealers and users, seize drugs and money, and punish possession and trafficking heavily enough to deter people. Yeah, I would actually like to know which countries they're punishing people by death for drug possession or drug dealing. I think it might be in the Middle East or something. I don't know. I don't really care to find out right now because it's besides the point. But if you feel like Googling, do it while you're listening. I'm not going to be doing anything of value. Maybe I'll just sit here and twiddle my thumbs and maybe suck my own dick while I'm just waiting for you to finish Googling that. Who knows?
Just a quick disclosure, the links in the episode description are affiliate links. That means Spilling Trends earns a commission if you make a purchase at no extra cost to you. If you'd like to support the podcast, using those links is a great way to do it. Thank you so much. If you're ready to take control of your finances, and I mean take real control in a way that actually works for you specifically, not just some guru bullcrap, Check out Path to Passive Profits by Wealth Foresight. It walks you through saving money, investing, and building income online using the best resources by Wealth Foresight. Hit the link in the episode description to learn more and start your journey today. Do you want to earn cash back on the shopping you're already doing? Holidays, electronics, gifts, services, just pretty much anything you can think of? Join Rakuten using our referral link and you can get a $50 bonus when you sign up and make a qualifying purchase at any of over 3,500 retailers within 30 days. Use the link in the episode description and start saving money on every purchase you make online today. For US-based listeners only.
Oh, he's doing ads on his podcast that no one listens to. Oh, what a fag. Major consequences of the war on drugs: huge prison populations, enormous law enforcement costs, and organised crime in black markets, corruption, violence in some producing and transit countries, and criminal records for millions of people. Public health criticism: treating addiction primarily as a criminal problem often fail to address why people use drugs in the first place. Critics argue that treatment, harm reduction, and prevention can be more effective than punishment alone. Today, many countries are moving away from pure prohibition toward combinations of decriminalization, treatment, harm reduction, regulated markets for some drugs, and targeted enforcement against trafficking. The simplest way to understand it is that the war on drugs wasn't really a war that could be won in the conventional sense. Oh, really? Really, ChatGPT? Wow, good for you for being so astute. God damn, that is so important. Oh. It was really an attempt to suppress oh, fuck off. Okay. It was really an attempt to suppress a persistent market by attacking supply and criminalizing participation. Demand remained, so the market adapted. And there's an important distinction. Drug prohibition isn't the same thing as drug regulation. A legal or decriminalized drug market can still have serious harms. The argument is about which system produces fewer overall harms, not whether drugs are inherently harmless. Okay, so that's actually put quite nicely, because what I wanted to get into was that, you know, many people have their own experiences in the world of drugs. I've certainly had my own. And let me tell you that, you know, sure, there's some scary crap going on out there. You know, the cartels and the gangs, even where I live, the gangs, I mean, yeah, I mean, there's always some stuff going on, right? I mean, there's dangerous substances circulating and dangerous weapons in order to support the people. Yeah, there are guns involved, and you know, this isn't an industry that you leave. It's an industry where, you know, you get shot at, and mugged and drugged and, you know, trafficked actually to Epstein's Island and, you know, any of those other islands that any of those other strange billionaires might have. I couldn't make that funnier. Sorry. That was I had a brain fart, but lately my whole life feels like a brain fart. But I'll tell you about my experience in the world of drugs. The people I know who sell drugs, they have used the term harm reduction in the way they approach their particular customers. No drug dealer wants bad things to happen to their customers, because being a drug dealer doesn't automatically mean that you're a bad person. There is an ethical way to do it. In fact, being a drug dealer is often a parallel reality to the fact that you are also a decent person. Maybe a soccer mum trying to make ends meet and finally showing her breasts on camera in season 3 of your show. Or, you know, maybe you're just a struggling person, a working person. You know, actually, you might have kids, actually. I know drug dealers who have kids. They do an amazing job at compartmentalizing their lives, being discreet. They're not paranoid. They're actually just careful. And what I've really come to realize about these people is that they actually want to protect people's best interests, and it can either go one way or the other. Like, on one hand, they could be a compassionate person who happens to be a drug dealer and wants to look out for people even though they also need the money. But on the other hand, they could also be a sociopath or a narcissist or some really, one of those fucked up kinds of people, in which case, if they're smart, they'll recognize that dead customers or hospitalized, institutionalized customers means no more purchases. And so it is in that fucked up, personality disordered person's best interests for their business to make sure that they're not overselling. And by overselling, I mean selling too much to the same person over and over again until they end up in an OD. Because when you put it that way, I mean, drug dealing, honestly, to me, sounds better than being in an MLM. Why don't they legalize all these substances? Well, I'll tell you why, because otherwise those drug dealers would be out of jobs, wouldn't they? Because it would go to the corporations. No sole tradership. However, drug dealing as a business as well is a way to build great skills. I said that to one drug dealer once, actually. And he took it on the chon. I think he actually didn't appreciate it. It maybe sounded like I was mansplaining to him, or maybe it's just like, oh, I already knew that. It's just like, mate, that's fine. I'm not mansplaining to you. I just don't necessarily know what you know, okay? So maybe just tell me, I already know that, actually. And actually, tell me if you feel like it's condescending. I'll say to you, oh, I'm sorry. I'm actually sorry. I actually don't. Disrespect doesn't have to be intentional. Okay? And that was disrespectful. I'm sorry. I'm sorry about that. But yeah, I mean, the war on drugs, I mean, I just think of piss pants virgins working in the Bureau of Bureaucracies, whether it's the FBI, the CIA, the whatever. People who have never had fun a day in their lives just reading the large print when it comes to drugs. Oh, drugs are bad. Oh, drugs have this risk and that risk and stuff. It is nuanced. And I think I would like to speak to not telling people, not people who don't use drugs, okay? If you don't use drugs, good for you, genuinely. I'm not being sarcastic. Great. If you have a fulfilling enough life without ever having to ingest anything like that, then that is, more power to you. I was like that for a long time as well. I did smoke weed as a teenager, but funnily enough, weed really doesn't agree with me. Psychologically, it makes me psychotic. And I've tried it a few times as an older adult, adult, and it still wasn't good. In fact, it was the worst experience I've ever had on the drug in my life. Biggest mistake I ever made. Did not make it again. It was the one time I smoked weed in the last maybe 3 or 4 years. But when I was much younger, teenager, early 20s, my experiences with weed actually put me off that drug, and I became convinced that every other drug was just as bad, and was going to make me crazy and all the rest of it. I won't go down the whole list, but let me tell you, there is a list. I can think of at least 5 drugs that I use. I just don't really want to. Discretion, okay? Discretion. Like a drug dealer. But I'm not a drug dealer, I can tell you that one, honestly. Fuck that. I've got my own business to think of. By the way, it's, oh my god, I'm having such a hard time being funny right now. I think I was going to say something about an MLM. Mary Kay. Yeah, I'm a Mary Kay girl. Yeah, that's right. Something joke from Family Guy. These shampoos have been in my car. What I will say, based on my experience so far, is that if you get the help and the support you need from the right people through the right channels, if there's an agency available, use it. If you're going to go to friends and family, pick your people wisely. Only involve who you need to. Yes, be honest with yourself. Be honest with everyone around you. Admit that you've been using if someone asks you. Always admit to yourself what you've been doing. You've gonna have to be really upfront and just really commit to the truth about this, because even though you may feel a lot of shame about whatever drug it is that you've been using a lot, whatever it is that has become your vice that you just can't stand to look at yourself in the mirror over, because you are just so beside yourself that you just let yourself get this happen, because all your life you were taught not to do that, not to fucking huff on that pipe or roll that joint or watch that HBO special, because You were told that these substances are incredibly dangerous to your development and to your brain, and the risks and the risks of what is it, heart attack or sudden death, premature death, all the rest of it. I mean, you know, yeah, and there's a lot of shame. Um, And on the other end of it, there's the way people get older and smarter, and then they start intellectualizing everything, and they start to think, oh, I'm actually smarter than this, and oh, I can manage this because, oh, actually, I'm not like other drug addicts because yeah, yeah. So I think I've been at both ends of that spectrum. Um, uh, yeah, I won't say when, but I have been. And let me tell you, I um, have learned a lot, and I've learned that no good will ever come from beating yourself up about it, but also no good will come from intellectualizing and enabling your use, internally justifying it. I say intellectualizing because I did this reflection with ChatGPT over a bit, and it accused me of intellectualizing my use at one point, and I was like, oh my God, that is such a good way of putting it. And apparently, when you're ADHD and probably on the autistic spectrum as well, um, intellectualizing everything is a thing that we do, which I do recall my counselor saying to me because she was well seasoned in alcohol and drug, but also dealing with people with these kinds of underlying issues, which in my case was actually the main point of any discussions I had with the clinicians. That wasn't the drug problem. It wasn't you really need to be here and you really need to go to rehab and stuff. It's actually we need to support you with these underlying conditions that are contributing to mental health issues and your tendency towards drugs and the rest of it. So going through the proper channels, involving only who you need to, but the people who are involved, the people who are in the know, they need to know everything. You need to fucking be honest with people because the drugs are already lying to you. Okay? So don't let them make you a liar. Don't ever lie. Lying is gay. Lying is, sorry, I mean homosexual. I mean, no. It's a sin. It's not Christian. Wait, no, fuck that. No, and you don't need God either, actually, to get off drugs. You don't need God. Don't even go there, okay? Well, okay, so I actually don't know why I immediately just went into Pinterest advice mum vibes. I don't even like the word vibes. Why am I doing that? Okay, so basically, this is essentially screaming into a mirror for me right now. I am projecting what I have taught myself or what I have realized is the most important thing about the process of recovering from addiction, whatever the substance may be, whatever the bad habits, whatever the slippery slope you may be slipping down so surreptitiously, even though everyone knows about it and they're all talking about it and you don't give a fuck. This is the thing. You go off on one, the process to recovery is not linear. You cannot beat yourself up because that's just going to make it worse. Guilt's only going to make it worse. But I think, yeah, I actually, so basically when I hit record just now, I was thinking I need to stop talking at this, whoever's listening, and actually just talk about what's been working for me. And I think I was just drifting back into that whole, oh, that preachy bullshit again. Look, I just found that it is what it is. Like, with any kind of use, like any kind of, like, I mean, at one point it was binge drinking. That was the problem. So I wasn't drinking every day. I was never an alcoholic, but it still interfered with my life. It still affected, it started to impact other people. And that was when I realized I had a problem. Incidentally, I was able to get over it without any counseling. I have, from time to time, still had a bit of a binge drink, but, I mean, it's been like, what, 2 months since I got really out of hand? I think last Friday, it was either last Friday or the Friday before, I had a bit too much gin, but it was handled. I actually went home relatively early, got a friend to drive me home, got Uber Eats, passed out on the couch, woke up at 12, couldn't go back to sleep, watched Premonition, died inside. The point being, anyone who has a substance issue, and I don't know if I really spoke up to this point very well, I kind of just came up with it when I did the cut. Look, I truly believe that anyone who is using substances, no matter how shallow or deep they are in that whole thing, everyone is on their way out. Okay? You either get over the addiction or you die. You know, you either recover or you die. So that's actually like so fucking basic. Like, of course, like it's like, oh, it's like, oh, you're suffering from a terminal illness. Well, you either recover or you die. Like, fuck up. Okay, but this is the thing. That's really it. And I think about, you know, people who are, I suppose, more down the rabbit hole than me, but I also think, you know, nuanced situations, nuanced circumstances. I don't ever compare myself to people and their situations because it's different. It's just like I don't compare, you know, how much they use versus how much I use. I never feel like, oh, well, you know, I mean, if they're using that much, I should be using that much. Like, something like, you know, understanding my own body, understanding my own limits, setting boundaries for myself, and observing my feelings and my thoughts. So, making a note of how I feel before, during, and after I use any kind of substance, and, you know, making a note of it and understanding, you know, reflecting on that. I think, I wish everyone well, because I am currently not well, apparently, but you know what? At least I recorded a podcast episode, so there you go. That's spilling trends for the day. No horoscopes this time because I don't know where they are. The moon is laughing at me, and the sun is too discreet and straight acting. Good night. Or day.